Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now locked into Get Fit Now Talk Radio with your host, Steve Munson.
Oh yeah, like she says, you are back on Get Fit Now Talk Radio. I'm your host, Steve Amundsen. I'm glad you guys could join us this afternoon, this evening, and we're going to be going over family fitness ideas for everybody, how to get started. We're going to go over some different ideas and things that you can do as the family to get everybody involved in it, and it's going to be a good show. So I'm glad everybody could join us tonight. So definitely, like we always do, we want to give a shout out to Frank the Tank Robinson. You guys need to check his show out, Mouth to Muscle, on Blog Talk Radio on Sundays at 1. Awesome show, a lot of great guests, and a lot of good information. A good show to listen to. I love tuning into him. And like here, you can listen. You don't have to listen live. You can download it or whatever you need, to do to listen to it. They make it very accessible, so definitely check them out. And as always, check out the Iron Coalition with Manny Kirby. Check him out on Facebook too, man. The IC, they got a lot of things going on. He's making comebacks and stuff and making some huge gains, so we definitely want to check him out. Been a big supporter of us for a long time. I see him at the Olympia every year. Not the Olympia, I'm sorry. We just had that. Congratulations, by the way, Phil. But at the Arnold in Columbus there every year. And so it's a good thing. And I'm going to have Melanie on the show here soon. She's been cutting and getting ready for competition coming up here. And we're also going to do a show with Christopher Hartley out of the UK. He's getting ready to compete this Sunday over there, and he's a sponsored athlete and making some huge progress over there in the UK, showing them how it's done. They're over there across the pond. So definitely got some good things coming up. So we definitely want to stay tuned, and we do appreciate, like I said, all the support you guys give us out there. It's awesome. But today we're going to talk about, family fitness and getting everybody involved. And I think it's real important that families do this. It gives you more time together, everything. It's just better for the whole family. Child obesity is really becoming, and it has been becoming, and it already is really, an increasing problem in this United States. With the children nowadays spending more time in front of the TV, surfing the internet, playing computer games, rather than engaging in active, healthy play. On top of that, with increased intake of the junk foods and the fast foods we have out there, all these preservatives and everything in the junk and food, these are leading to really the unhealthiest generation, I believe, in my opinion, of the younger people out there today. So, as parents, we need to get these kids moving and going. I try to tell the kids when I was growing up that we had 3 channels. It was CBS, ABC, and NBC. And cartoons were Saturday morning, I think from like 6 in the morning to maybe 11 or something like that. Then it was always, sports the rest of the day or whatever. But we didn't have TV. Friday nights, I think, was the big TV night with, what was it? Dukes of Hazzard, I know that. I think even Lawrence Welk show was still on. And, Hee Haw, that was my dad's favorite. So we always watched Hee Haw and Dukes of Hazzard on Friday night. But the rest of the time, we were doing things. And in today's generations, it's totally different. And it's really, we need to get out there. And children are really heavily influenced by the habits of us as parents. So as a parent, it's really important to, set a good example and try to keep active and eat healthy and things like that, because they really do soak in what you do and your habits. And by taking part in a really active fitness and different activities as the family, children are more likely to want to participate and enjoy that, keeping a healthy lifestyle. And not only is it great for the child, but there again, it also helps the fitness levels of the parents who may find it hard to make time to exercise when working and looking after kids and running them to games and shopping, with today's lifestyles. So, we need to get the family together and find some activities that, you can enjoy together to increase this healthy lifestyle and fitness. And it also, like I said, it strengthens that family bonds when you spend that time together. And we'll go over some stuff here, some different ideas on how to get into it. But first we need to figure out how we're going to start this with the family. Well, first, I think you need to decide what level of participation now you're going to your family's ready for. If your entire family is going to be committed 100%, you could go as far as setting up a family Olympics, which would be really fun and competitive. If it's a struggle to get your family to do anything together, starting out small is going to be the better option for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. You simply must focus on really educating each of them about the benefits of exercise and eating, and doing it in a smart way. A lot of parents want to bombard people with stats and figures and numbers and percentages, but bombarding them with these stats every morning as, they come down for breakfast, I really don't think is the best option to do. You can put up like a healthy living type, like a bulletin board or a chart in your kitchen, or just use your fridge door. Put like articles, and other different resourceful type things that are going to help get the point across without having to say much of anything. I mean, they look at that refrigerator door, whether you think so or not, when they're opening and closing. If something new's up there, for example, if one child's an athlete, an article about a successful athlete who commits, to exercising and things could go a long way. Or post a story, about a young person who had trouble focusing at school maybe, and started exercising and saw an amazing difference, and that's just some different ways that, you can get started with that, You can combine, exercises with household chores, on a small piece of paper, write down some chores and body weight exercises. You cut them all up in little pieces, the different chores, and throw them in a hat and have them draw. Maybe dad today gets to clean the bathroom and do a set of squats every, minute. He's got to do a set of 10 or something. Just make it a game. While one of the kids maybe is cleaning the kitchen and doing forward lunges for sets in between, for a minute. The combinations can be endless. Mix it up maybe with some yard work seasonal chores, or even some aerobic components like jumping rope if you wanted to. Definitely you can do that, and it would be a good thing to do. So you definitely want to integrate those in. I would say each family member, you could also pick an exercise at the beginning of the week and do as many reps as they can. Then train throughout the week with the goal of improving by the weekend, and the family member who has, maybe the highest percentage of increase is rewarded with something small, but motivating. It's got to be motivating. They're talking about teenagers and young kids. You want to keep the focus on the fact that everyone is improving. Definitely. You want that you want to keep them motivated and going. Maybe designate an evening as the family, fitness night. Each week a different person designs the family workout that you all do together. Maybe it could be swimming, rollerblading, maybe a family walk, 2-on-2 basketball game, maybe some frisbee golf, something active. Everyone gets to do something that they enjoy. And your workout will never become dull that way, and it keeps their interest and keeps them motivated also at the same time. You can go as far as buying some small pieces of equipment even to keep around the house, and then make some fitness rules. Exercise during commercials every time you watch TV. Stretch before bed each night, which is good to do. Maybe purchase a few inexpensive items like a cheap jump rope, maybe some resistance bands, maybe some little light dumbbells or something. You know, and those are all, you can get the jump rope for like $5-6 at Walmart. Same with the resistance bands. They're not but $10-12, you know, and things like that. You could even get a stability ball. You know, and rotate them through the house on a daily basis. Treat them kind of like as a scavenger hunt finds. If you find the jump ropes placed in the garage, you have to use it for a minute. And next time you may find it on the porch or in the basement. You know, and that's kind of makes it interesting and fun. If they see it, you know, they walk into, oh, we got to do that. You know, and each week now measure your fitness levels to determine your family's overall fitness average, and add each person's own calculation to their level of fitness for the week. 0 meaning, you know, they did nothing. 7 meaning they exercise daily. And what I would do is divide the total number of the family members and set a goal of to an average of at least 5 or 6 each week, rewarding the entire family now if it's met. You know, like I said, you know, you really most of all want to make it really fun for everyone in the process of this and keep them motivated. It's going to teach your children about discipline, goal setting, the importance of not only health, but also as the family connection. And that helps the family bond in these times. So you definitely want to do that. And it's important to keep them motivated, because the motivation for kids, you know, it's hard. I have a child with ADHD, and within 2 seconds he's, you know, off on something else or he's distracted. So you got to keep it mixed up, and that way they never get dull. You know, let's go over some different things. You know, now that we've set the ground rules to get rid of some of these just sedentary type activities, you know, we're going to plan some family together time. And the idea, to me, at least for me, would be is to get about 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise every day. And that's not much, you know. So, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some things on how to get your family moving in that way. And that's the fun part. And it doesn't feel like a punishment here. They're going to be fun things. And you know, these are just some easy ways to reach these goals together. You know, now the kids, depending on where you live and things like that, you know, they could walk to school, lace up those shoes and walk with them to school. Get as a family, walk them to school if you know you have kids like that. And like for us, it's a little harder. One kid goes to a high school, you know, 20 minutes away. The other two are in other schools. So it's in too far of a distance. I mean, it'd take you an hour and a half or more to walk. So that's kind of, but if you have that opportunity, which a lot of us do, that's a great way to do it. Get them some and get you up for the morning and rolling. So definitely walk them to school. The video games now that they have and things like that, a lot of these games are coming out with like the Wii, the lot of interacting action with them, a lot of the physical participation, maybe you could call it. Check out the physical participation video games if they're into video games, you know. Some of these newer action toys, video games, like I said, the Wii and things, they're coming out where you can play tennis, bowling, baseball, skateboarding, even snowboarding, I believe, and things. But it makes them get active. Whether it's in the living room or not, they're moving, they're active. And, you know, generally, you know, I'm trying to, and I'm sure most parents are trying to get their kids away from the TV. You know, but in case, you know, in this case, they're swinging a bat, they're dancing, you know, it's great, they're moving, it's fun for them. So, and you can do it with them, and that's what even makes it fun as a family. Everybody can have a big baseball game or tennis matches together. Thirdly, you want to do stuff that's going to build strong bones. You know, be sure to include bone strengthening exercises with these kids, you know, such as like hopscotch, jumping rope, gymnastic type things, volleyball, really any weight bearing type activities, you know, one that you do standing up. It really helps bones, and as kids are growing, it's important that they build these bones. And of course, diet and right foods and healthy help too, but definitely we want to do that. Number 4, take a tour of a park in your area. You know, we live down here in Charleston, South Carolina, and there are parks and different, it's a tourist area, resort area, so there's things to do everywhere. So take a tour of the parks and walk, you know, the county parks and state parks and things. And you can't go to the federal now, we're shut down for a while, but, you know, anyways, but you definitely want to Go to the parks, get out, walk some of these nature trails and things. You'll be surprised at the things you get to see and things like that. The boys and I, and Carly, we love to go for walks on the nature trails and stuff. And we do it a lot of times just on the beach here on Isle of Palm.